This is a screencast on tackling negative numbers for the Math GED. All right, so just some basic rules for numbers. So the first thing I want to start with is what most students remember is that multiplication and division. If you multiply a positive times a positive, it's positive. And students remember a negative times a negative is also a positive. The problem I find working with students is that they want to apply this rule to addition and subtraction. It's only for multiplication and division. Does a negative times a negative equal a positive? Okay, if you have a mixture or an odd number of negatives, your answer will end up being negative if you're multiplying and dividing. It depends up here for when you're adding, okay? So if you add a positive to a positive, you get a positive. A negative plus a negative is a negative. But a positive, if it's bigger than the negative in terms of absolute value, it will be positive. So let me give you an example. So if you have like a positive 10 plus a negative 3, your answer will be positive 7, okay? But conversely, if you have a smaller positive, let's say you have a positive 3 plus a negative 10, well, then your answer is negative 7. So in other words, it depends, okay, when you're adding. All right, and so when comes to subtraction, this is the one that comes up on the GED most frequently. They're not going to ask you these outright, but they're going to force these in slope problems, solving equation problems. And the way that I like students to do it is to treat subtraction as adding the opposite. So let me show you what I mean by adding the opposite. Here is an example where you have a positive number subtracting a positive number. So in other words, 5 minus 2. 5 is positive, 2 is positive. This is a subtraction or minus sign, okay? So the answer is 3. No tricks here or anything, right? But it's the process. So the first number, step 1, the first number stays the same. 5 stays 5. Step 2, change subtraction into addition. Step 3, change the second number into its opposite. So again, this is a positive 2 here. Turn that into a negative 2. And therefore, the answer is going to be 3. Let me show you one of the tricks I like to do is treat this, if this is 5 positives, then write out your 5 positives. Then now you have effectively 2 negatives. These will cancel each other out, and you end up with 3 positives left over. Okay, let's do some more examples. Again, treating subtraction as adding the opposite. 7 minus 3, this is the most straightforward. The answer is 4. Most students get that, but let's use the process. So the first number stays the same. Turn this subtraction into a positive. Again, this is a positive 3 here. Let's turn it into a negative 3. Again, the little trick that I like to do is you got 7 positives, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positives, and you have 3 negatives now. So you're left with 4 positives, or a positive 4, right? So what about when it looks different? What about 7 minus a negative 3? Again, first number stays the same. The subtraction becomes a positive, and this negative 3 becomes a positive 3. So it is effectively positive 7 plus a positive 3, and your answer is just 10 or positive 10. Okay. Now we get negative 7 minus 3. So again, follow the process. Don't just guess. I get a lot of students that will say the answer is negative 4, or they say the answer is 4. Let's see what the answer actually is. So negative 7, turn that subtraction into addition, and this is a positive 3 here. Let's turn that into a negative 3. So we're starting with something negative, and we're adding more negative to it. We're making it more negative, so it becomes a negative 10. Now here's the other one that I often see confuses students. So you have your negative 7. Just bringing that straight down, turn the subtraction into addition, and now turn this negative 3 into a positive 3. And then the result of that, let's do the little trick again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives and 3 positives. Those are going to cancel out, and you're left with 4 negatives. So one thing that I always tell students to do is, if you get something like this and you can use the calculator, you're on the calculator section of the GED, use the calculator. Put these in the calculator. It will obviously give you the right answer, assuming you enter it incorrectly, but it's just, you just can rely on that instead of having to make a guess. So let me show you a few other things. Oftentimes it's vertical. So especially if you're solving equations using inverse operations, you're going to might end up with a situation where you have 15 minus a negative 7. And so if you get something like this, turn it so that it's horizontal. So 15 minus a negative 7. Then I find students are much more likely to follow the process. Again, first number stays the same, turn the subtraction into addition, and this negative 7 becomes a positive 7. So in this case, the answer is 22. Let me show you one other trick. I've actually already showed it to you. It's just using these positive and negative signs. I find this can be really helpful for the right type of student. So you got your negative 5, turn this subtraction into addition, and this this negative 3 becomes a positive 3. So you end up with negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives and 3 positives. So you line them up. These will cancel out, and that's why your answer is a negative 2. All right, last thing, where can you go to practice this? Really like Khan Academy. If you put in the search bar of Khan Academy subtracting negative numbers and you go to exercises, you can find this one. This is a great way to practice this so you can really master this skill. All right, good luck on the GED. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video if you found it valuable, and subscribe if you would like to see more videos like these. Visit the link below to passtheged.org to see more videos and learning opportunities that will help you get the highest passing score on the GED. And good luck.